We often speak of building a better future, one that feels meaningful, fulfilling, and truly our own. We imagine future as something distant, something we'll encounter eventually somewhere down the line. The truth is, the future isn't something we simply arrive at. It's something we quietly construct. It's simply a reflection of the choices that we make when no one is watching. For the longest time, I lived life on default settings. Wake up, get to class, submit assignments, prepare for exams, get good grades, smile politely. I was checking all the boxes, the good girl template. Grades, good. Behavior, ideal. Dreams, well, I wasn't sure I had the time. I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't happy either. I wasn't connected. It was like I'm reading from the script that someone else wrote, while my own story waited quietly on the sidelines. Until one day, a negligible but a stubborn question refused to leave me alone. Why am I doing all this? It wasn't a dramatic moment. There was no life-altering events or inspirational books involved. It was just a growing discomfort with the mechanical nature of my days. Everything I did seemed to serve a checklist. Marks, medals, maintaining reputation. But to be very honest, nothing felt mine. That simple why changed everything. It pushed me out of an autopilot and into something I now call the 3P approach. Purpose, plan, priority. Not a theory from textbook, not a quote from self-help reel. Just what life taught me. It came from lived experience. It helped me move from simply functioning to actually understanding the direction I was moving in. At first, I thought my purpose was to keep everyone around me proud. Parents, teachers, maybe even society. But when the applause faded and the trophies started gathering dust, I had to ask, what's left? I realized I didn't want to be famous or loud or brilliant. My purpose wasn't about external achievements. It was about becoming someone who could stand on her own and give my parents the quiet joy of knowing that their child could build her own life. That shift in mindset changed everything. Studying didn't become easier, but it started to make sense. What once felt like pressure became a choice. Purpose had given meaning to routine. It gave me a reason to show up, even when I didn't feel like it. But purpose on its own is incomplete. The next step is planning. A purpose without plan remains an idea. A plan gives it structure. Because real change doesn't begin with realization. It begins when we start preparing, when we equip ourselves. And that's what I did. I started learning new skills. I stopped waiting for right opportunity. I began creating my own. Yeah, I made mistakes that made me cringe. But I moved. And that moment, it changed how I saw myself. A plan doesn't guarantee you success, but it gives your day, your life, structure. It turns hope into habit. And then came a moment where I had to choose between comfort and long-term growth. After completing my 12th grade, I was at crossroads. I have spent 12 years with the same 3 closest friends. We had always been together, but college was a turning point. My father, he suggested me a college known for strong placement records and discipline. It wasn't where my friends were going. I had a choice to stay with my comfort zone, where my 3 close friends, girls who had laughed with me, cried with me, and been with me, were going. Or step into something unfamiliar. My heart tugged one way, my future pointed to another. I had a choice, and I chose the latter. And that first day, walking into a place where no one knew my name, I questioned everything. But slowly, as days passed, that loneliness became independence. That unfamiliar space became a training ground. I learned how to rebuild from scratch. That's what priority means. Not choosing between good and bad, but between now and what matters in the long run. Sometimes it means choosing growth over comfort. A study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine by Jochen P. Ziegelman and Sonia Lipke talks about how goal setting paired with specific plans increases the chances of long-term change. Translation: it's not enough to know what you want. You need to know what to do next and do it again and again and again. Because clarity isn't a one-time download. It fades. It doubts. Some days you'll question it all over again. But that's okay. I've learned that purpose isn't loud. It's that quiet voice that reminds you, hey, keep going. You chose this for a reason. In simpler terms, intention isn't enough. You need implementation. So here is what I want to leave you all with. Purpose helps you identify why you're doing something. Planning shows you how to start doing it. And prioritizing helps you decide what matters most when options conflict. None of these steps guarantee success, but it creates an alignment between actions and your intentions. Because the future isn't a destination waiting for us. It's something we shape every time we make a deliberate choice. Every yes and no we say today quietly writes the script for where we end up. To close with the words of Mahatma Gandhi, not as inspiration, but as a reminder for responsibility. The future depends on what you do today, not tomorrow, not someday, today. And that perhaps is the most concrete way to approach what lies ahead. Thank you.